What's up, Tailgaters? You're in the booth with Tailgate Nate today. Welcome to my channel. We got a little taste of the college football season last week. 7 games, got to see a couple of ranked teams in action, but with the first full weekend of college football just around the corner, I got a couple weekday games for you today that really have piqued my interest. And the first one is one of the biggest games of the college football weekend. The Florida Gators are going on the road to take on the Utah Utes in Rice-Eccles Stadium in Salt Lake City. Before we dive into this preview and prediction, thank you guys so much for the support on the channel. This past summer, this past week, it's been incredible. Continue to show your support. Hit the subscribe button, ring the bell so you know when videos get uploaded, but there are more ways than that to help me support my channel. Hey, you guys are doing one of them right now by watching the video. You guys can gladly do more by liking, commenting, sharing, anything else you guys are willing and able to do to help me support my channel. Well, that would just mean a lot to me. So whatever you guys are willing and able to do, I would greatly, greatly appreciate. But enough about all that. Let's dive into this preview prediction. Hey, these two teams did play last year in the swamp. Florida was able to walk away with a win, using the ground game really effectively in that win over Utah last year. Utah going to look to try to flip the script on the Gators this year. So let's go ahead and take a look at some stats. These stats are from last year, and both of these teams do have a couple new pieces, so put that in there with a grain of salt. So let's take a look at the stats from last year. Of course, as we did in my Week 0 preview predictions, we will start with the road team, and this year that is the Florida Gators in this matchup. Let's take a look at the Gators offense from last season. Honestly, it was not too bad at all. They were able to run the ball really effectively, around 200 rush yards per game. They had over 400 yards per game last year, almost 30 points per game. They didn't turn the ball over as frequently as some other offenses around the country did. We can take a look at the Utah number down there. Sacks, hey, their offensive line did a pretty solid job. And third down conversions, yeah, okay, you'd like to see that number maybe be a little bit better. But overall, this was a very solid Florida offense last season. Again, the rushing stable does take a little bit of a hit this year because you do lose Anthony Richardson at quarterback, but Montrell Johnson, Trevor Etienne are both coming back. Your new quarterback this year is going to be Graham Mertz. Again, did not have the best of careers in Madison, had transferred over to this program. We'll be talking about him more later. And you got a loaded group of wide receivers as well, leading it off with the former Arizona State transfer, Ricky Pearsall, as well. So still a pretty good offense. I think it's going to be an effective offense all year long for the Florida Gators. The problem with this team was on the defensive unit. Now, they were able to generate some turnovers, and they were able to generate pressure now and again on the quarterback, but that third down defense was atrocious. You allowed over 400 yards per game. When your yards per game are pretty similar, or when your yards and points per game are pretty similar to that of your offense, you know that the defense is, needing some improvement. There are some transfers coming in all different levels. Cam Jackson's coming in on the defensive line. Terada Mitchell is coming in the linebacking unit. RJ Moten is in the secondary. And other than that, this is just a huge defensive front. It's a secondary that does have some nice experience and talent still on it. There are a lot of freshmen and transfers across the board on this defense to help it improve from where it was last season. And believe me, it is going to need a major jump in the right direction if Florida's going to want to compete in the SEC this year. There are not very high expectations around this program entering this season. Part of the reason being that this defense needs to show its improvement from last year. I think they have the talent to do it. It's just a matter of if they can get it done. Moving over to talk about the Utah Utes. Let's talk about their offense for a second. While there are some question marks surrounding their offense, there's no question marks that this was a very effective offense last season. 38 points per game, 466 yards per game. Were able to throw the ball. They were able to run the ball. They were terrific on third down. Yeah, okay, maybe they turned the football over a little bit too much, but you can clean that up. Their offensive line only allowed barely over a sack per game. They played 14 games last year, allowed 15 sacks. This was a very good and physical Utah offense. They showed it with the ground game. The offensive line did a really good job at setting the tone, and there are a lot of nice pieces coming back on this offense. You do have some transfers coming into the wide receiver room. Emory Simmons, Micah Pittman are both coming in, while Devon Vele and Money Parks do come back. In the running back room, Jaquindon Jackson, Micah Bernard, those are some guys that are still back there. You probably have the best, or I should say one of the best tight end rooms in college football. Brant Keithy, Thomas Yasmin, among some other names, are there as well. But the trouble with this offense is we don't quite know what the quarterback position looks like, at least for this game. Of course, Cam Rising is going to be that starter, but he's still trying to recover from an injury, and at least to my knowledge right now, his as of recording this video, his status for that game, or I should say this game against Florida, is still kind of up in the air, still kind of in the unknown ranks. And then Brandon Rose is dealing with an injury as well. So if neither of them are ready to go, it will be Bryson Barnes. He has experience. He's thrown a touchdown in the Rose Bowl against Ohio State, for goodness sake, and has a lot of other experience. So I think no matter who the quarterback is, this offense will be fine. But again, the question is on Cam Rising. Will he be healthy and ready to go? That's a big storyline to watch. Defensively, what do you want me to say about this defense? It was physical. It was tough. Hey, maybe you'd like to see that secondary get a little bit better, but it did not allow teams to score. It was great, if not terrific, on third downs. It forced turnovers. It was phenomenal at getting pressure to the quarterback, almost 3 sacks per game last year. And yeah, you do lose a lot of talent from last season in every single level, but there are still a lot of nice pieces here. Kareem Reed is playing that rover position for them this year. You do have a lot of nice talent in the secondary, led by to Travis Broughton, who's a senior, and Cole Bishop, who is a junior free safety as well. I don't need to speak much more on this Utah defense. It could be Kyle Whittingham's best defense to date. It's going to be physical. It's going to be tough. There is a ton of talent on it all across the board. And even though you do lose some key pieces, need I mention Junior Tafuna as a defensive tackle as well. It's going to be explosive. It's going to be tough. It's going to be physical. It's going to make life hard for this Florida offense to work. That is for sure. Again, could be Kyle Whittingham's best defense to date. So let's take a look at kind of your what to watch for. Nate, what do I need to watch for when I'm watching this game? Well, as I mentioned earlier, Anthony Richardson is out, Graham Mertz is in, and he does not have the best reputation around Madison, Wisconsin, and albeit around college football. Can he prove the doubters wrong? We have definitely seen flashes of what Graham Mertz can be, right? Especially his first career start as a Wisconsin Badger. He has proven that he can be a pretty solid option at the quarterback position, but it has not been great for him over the past couple of seasons. Can he turn a new leaf? Is a change of scenery what he needed? We'll see if Graham Mertz can get it done. He has the talent around him, especially in the running back room. You have a couple solid options at wide receiver as well, but it starts with Graham Mertz. How much does he improve? That's going to be something to watch. Florida, hey, they were able to do it last year. You're going to have to do it again to win this game. Again, this year, you have to win the battle in the trenches. You have to control the ground game. Your offensive line has to be able to push back on this Utah defense, which is going to be a really hard thing for this Florida offensive line to do. It does have a couple of transfers coming in to replace some pieces that they lost from last season, but it does have some size. Maybe a couple pieces need to gel in there, but overall should be pretty solid. But efficiency is the name of the game for Florida. Be efficient offensively, be efficient defensively, control the clock, and you'll have a pretty good shot to win this game. However, for the Utah Utes, with the health of the quarterbacks up in the air, expect a heavy dose of the run game, and it's a run game that's going to be very, very effective. Jaquindon Jackson is a very, very talented running back. Micah Bernard is a running back safety combo, and hey, even no matter who the quarterback is, they have a lot of wide receiver options to be able to air it out as well. As I mentioned, this is an aggressive and punishing defense that's going to make life absolute hell for this Florida Gator offense to be able to work. Again, could be Kyle Whittingham's best defense to date. And just a kind of general key for both sides of the ball, the offensive and defensive lines for the Utah Utes should be able to hold their own with, I'm not going to say ease, because Florida's defensive line especially has a lot of size, a lot of toughness, and it's going to make life hard in this Utah offensive line. But over and under, Utah's offensive and defensive lines are going to help them win the battle in trenches, in my opinion, which leads me kind of into my prediction. Utah, as of right now, is the 6.5-point favorite. Again, that's as of recording this video. FPI likes them. This is an 8 o'clock Eastern Standard Time game on ESPN, and I think that the Utah Utes are going to get their revenge from last season. I do like them to cover as well. There are a lot of pieces with Florida that are going to have to gel. There are just too many pieces with Florida that have to fit. Graham Mertz has to fit. A couple pieces on the offensive line has to fit. A couple pieces on the defensive end have to fit as well. Utah's got a lot of physicality on both sides of the ball. The offense will work, and even though Cam Rising may not be healthy and ready to go, I do believe the Utes will walk away with a win in week 1. That'll do it for my thoughts on this game. Let me know yours in the comment section down below. And hey, as always, remember to play hard, but tailgate harder. See you guys in the next video.